Now viewers, in the latest, the UK Supreme Court has ruled that the legal definition of a woman is based on biological sex, following a challenge by the For Women Scotland group that has been fighting the case for years. The unanimous ruling is being seen as a landmark decision with far-reaching implications on the topic of the transgender rights and the community's rights. The court has stated that the term woman and the sex in the UK's Equality Act of the year 2010 refers to a biological woman and biological sex. The bench also went on to state that the Act also gives transgender people protection against discrimination in their acquired gender. The UK government has welcomed the ruling for bringing clarity into the debate. Pia Maan, my colleague, is joining me to deliver more details as in fact the landmark decision by the UK government has come, where the UK Supreme Court ruling has now given a fresh definition for what constitutes as the woman. Pia, read between the lines as to what exactly this means.
This will have far-reaching implications. Now, the appeal case was brought against the Scottish government by a campaign group for Women Scotland. It followed unsuccessful challenges at the Court of Sessions in Edinburgh. Basically, this group called on the court to find sex as an immutable biological state. It argued that sex-based protection should only apply to people born female. Now, this was in fact in reference to the UK-wide Equality Act of 2010. This has been a long-running legal challenge. It's been 15 years since the Equality Act in the United Kingdom was enforced. In fact, the judges were asked to rule on whether the legislation means by sex, whether they're referring to biological sex or certificated sex as legally defined by the Gender Recognition Act in the United Kingdom. This Gender Recognition Act was itself brought about in 2004. Meanwhile, the top court in the United Kingdom, the apex court over there, has now unanimously decided that the definition of a woman and sex in the Equality Act refers to a biological woman and biological sex. Now, in fact, this verdict was made by Lord Reid, Lord Hodge, Lloyd Jones and Lady Rose, as well as Lady Simler. And what's interesting is something you've pointed out as to what they've said. They've said that we counsel against reading this judgment as the triumph of one or more groups in societies at the expense of another. They have said that the Equality Act of 2010 gives transgender people protection not only against discrimination through the protected characteristic of gender reassignment, but also against direct discrimination, indirect discrimination, and harassment in substance in their acquired gender. Now, the top court in the United Kingdom has also stated that this is the application of the principle of discrimination by association. Now, this is a very, very important statement that they've put forth. They've also highlighted that there are statutory protections that are available to transgender people, whether or not they possess the gender recognition certificate that is allowed for under the 2004 Act. Meanwhile, a lot of women's rights activists are hailing. They've said that when we see a women-only space, it means exactly that, not even if they have a gender recognition certificate. So there are a lot of polarizing reactions that are pouring in at the moment with regards to the UK Supreme Court judgment. But by and large, what we are seeing, Simran, is that there are likely to be implications across the world, because there are cases that are going on in the United States as well. Remember, US President Donald Trump has also been signing a lot of legislations that is now banning, transgendered women in women's sports. We've seen numerous executive orders that he's been signing in recent times. So what exactly is going to be the implication of this? Whether this ruling will be used by courts in other countries, whether this sets a precedent or not, remains to be seen. Back to you, Simran.
All right, in fact, Pia, thank you very much for sharing more details. Now, in the latest viewers,